Now, ever since 2019, when the sequel trilogy came to a close, a lot of Star Wars fans have really been curious about where Rey's journey is going to actually end up after, of course, the end of Episode 9 and where that all leads when it comes to the new Jedi Order, the new Jedi Knights, etc., all these different avenues that they could really take. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about John, George, and Dave is that even though, yes, they are very busy with developing retcons that's going to have a big impact on the sequel trilogy movies, they're also very busy at creating 100% original work that's going to actually take a lot of content from Legends and mixing it in together with new material as well that we have never seen before. And that brings us to exactly what Jon Favreau recently had to say about the concept of Rey Skywalker and how it's going to be reverted to something new and something very much different that we have never seen before. Now, of course, everything related to Favreau, he's been a lot more talkative and direct with the fans about the future of the franchise, where it's leading. Even Daisy Ridley herself has been teasing a lot of things on Instagram and social media about going to Lucasfilm, meeting up with Lucasfilm creatives, and coming back to the Star Wars franchise. So let's elaborate. Now, everything related to, of course, the character of Rey is that right now, behind closed doors, John and Dave are creating their own version of Rey that's going to be quite a different version of the character in comparison to what we got in episodes 7 through 9. They've been meeting up with Daisy Ridley many times for the past couple of months now, forming a plan for this new post-episode 9 series. However, with many new Star Wars projects in the works at the same exact time by Favreau and Filoni, they are getting ready to do big things with the franchise. However, in a recent interview that Favreau took part in, he went on to discuss plans that he has in store with Rey and other sequel trilogy lore and canon. Favreau went on to state the following to the fans: "Myself and Dave have been spending a great deal of time on how we could alter some of the existing sequel lore to better our adventures and storylines with our upcoming shows and how they will lead into those films. We are focusing especially on how we can change Rey's story and who she is to add more depth to her character. That one thing I didn't really see as original or groundbreaking was how Rey labeled herself as a Skywalker, and so we are discovering great ways to alter who she really is and what she could call herself in upcoming lore." Now let me just stop this for a second. Now, this is of course one thing I do want to make clear. I'm very well aware that Rey is not a Skywalker by blood. We can all understand that. We all know that. But what John and Dave are doing is that they're going to be altering who she calls herself as. And the big plan right now is that they are going to have Rey calling herself Rey Solana in the post-episode 9 series, while also maintaining that Palpatine bloodline as well as a KENOBI bloodline as well. We've talked about this, of how that's the big plan right now, to really kind of evolve the character and really build the character from the ground up again. And that's John and Dave's plan. In fact, believe it or not, it was Favreau who specifically instructed Joby Harold for the KENOBI series to have Ewan McGregor drop that line of dialogue as Kenobi where he says, "I believe I had a brother. I remember a baby's hand." He wanted that line of dialogue in there to set things in motion, because the plan right now is to have Rey to become a descendant of the Kenobi bloodline through Kenobi's brother, being, of course, the grandfather of Rey. That's the overall structure of the plan right now, on one side of the bloodline. Now, on top of this, too, what's even all the more exciting is how in this post-episode 9 series that is now in the works, it's in the early development phase, like I said, Daisy Ridley is heavily in the works with John and Dave on really kind of giving us a brand new take on the character of Rey. Because even Daisy Ridley, she herself even admitted that this character was, kind of misused in the sequels. A little too overpowered, and kind of being justified as a Palpatine to fix that overpowered perception through the fans, right? So anyways, moving on. He goes on to elaborate. It's something that has been long in the making between myself and Dave on how we can handle that character at some point. Separate from what Favreau stated, however, this all alludes to how they will be erasing the marketing of Rey, calling herself Rey Skywalker, as well as merchandise labeling her as Rey Skywalker, by giving her a brand new name in a post-Episode 9 series, like I said before, where she is set to call herself Rey Solana. The name Rey Solana, by the way, comes directly from Duel of the Fates, the original Episode 9 film by Colin Trevorrow. Now, that she would hold, of course, the bloodline of Palpatine and Kenobi's, but would keep this a big secret, alright? That, of course, is the fleshed out plan by John and Dave for the post-Episode 9 series, and Daisy Ridley has been in constant talks with them for her return to Star Wars as a whole different iteration of the character. Now, the other thing that I do want to point out here real quick is that this post-Episode 9 series, alright, we're not going to be seeing this until at least 2026, let's just be real. There's no script yet, they're only working on storyboards right now, and notes and stuff like that have been finalized to be used in the script, stuff like that. They want to begin production sometime by the end of 2024. And getting this thing out by either 25 or 26. The thing about this post-Episode 9 series is that it does have a lot of potential, alright, because what they could do if they really wanted to, they could get John Boyega back to be an established Jedi if they really wanted to do something like that, but John Boyega has made it openly clear he does not want to come back to Star Wars. He wants nothing to do with Disney ever again. At least with the Star Wars universe, because of what they did with his character. And you know what? In a way, I don't blame him. They really kind of did him dirty in the marketing of The Force Awakens, making the fans believe that he was a Jedi, that he was the main character per se, and completely just used him as a ruse. That's what it was. But anyways, moving on to the next big thing here is that we already know that John and Dave are working hand in hand with George, as well as, a lot of other creators coming on board. In fact, believe it or not, Timothy Zahn is going to be one of the advisors for a lot of the upcoming shows, because they're going to be using Thrawn in a big way for Ahsoka, Mando 4, and a potential Mando Season 5 and 6. Favreau has made it clear that they'll only make a 5 and a 6 if 4 proves to be wildly successful, and that if anything, he plans to end everything at a Season 6, kind of following that Cobra Kai format, right? It almost sounds like he's following the Cobra Kai format, because Cobra Kai, the creators settled on a decision to end all of it by Season 6, and you don't want to go too overboard either. So anyways, guys, I'm really intrigued to hear what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, let me know what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.